I'm heading into the Sydney Opera House today to see The Phantom of the Opera. It's the new production that's about to open. I think they're still in previews. The ticket was so expensive, like unreasonably, completely unbelievably so. But I dug deep and I paid the ticket price because being on tour, it's basically impossible to see anything for like the next year and a half. I'm very excited to see this show. I saw Phantom first when I was 5.5. And that was at the Theatre Royal in the early 90s. And then I saw it again when the show came back in the thousands. I think Anthony Warlow was a fan at that point, and then I saw it on Broadway. This production is a little bit exciting because they have made a lot of changes to the original show. I am very interested from a technical perspective to see what those changes mean. Does it mean that they have cut the orchestra? Have they changed some of the tricks? Have they updated some of the automations so that it is more impressive? Are there any use of screens? In an interesting foyer touch, they're playing the songs from Phantom of the Opera in like a string version over the PA. I'm not being too cynical. I think it's lovely that they're playing the music because this is what people paid for. I suddenly remembered how long Act 1 is and I thought, oh, I better dash to the bathroom. I don't like sitting down before the 5 because I know some of the magic goes, so I enjoy sitting down and just like barely settling and then off we go. We've just finished Act 1. There are many wonderful good things about this production. Many, including wonderful voices, and a lot of money has been spent to take this show that is very expensive and difficult to tour and make it into a easy to tour, easy to pack down, cheap show. Which is a bit frustrating because there's so much money that goes into something like this and redeveloping it. But honestly, got to tell the story first. So I'm going to tell you about those two children that are sitting behind me. They do all of the regular things that children are supposed to do when they're at the theatre, which is what's going on and who is that character, mummy? But I think they know the show already, which is really interesting. And they were asking a lot of questions at the top of the show, and they just stopped asking questions about 3 songs in. And I was like, you know what? It is a good show. It's a really good show because if children can follow along and they know what's going on and they don't have to ask questions, that means that it's working. They're still trying to solve the lift. There's people trying to get them out of the lift. Oh my goodness. What a drama. I'm going to move on because it's just too much. I wonder if they'll hold the curtain. Oh, we did open the show 10 minutes late, which I was very interested. I wonder why that was. Was it because they're trying to make sure that all the patrons are seated and no one's pissed off because they've spent $400 and missed the start of the show? Maybe. All in all, it's the end of Act 1 and I think you should see the show. I think you should. Should you pay $400? Absolutely not. But if, like me, you only get to see one show in the next 6 months, absolutely you should spend the money and see what they do when they try and take a show that is incredibly successful. It's been earning money at the box office since it started in the 80s, and how do you revamp it so that people are more impressed? Although I will say that the drop cloth at the end of Act 2 is printed. Like, come on, texture actually means something. As much as I finished Act 1 being very cynical, Act 2 just got me. I'm not sad that this is the show that I got to see on the last few days before I go back on tour. Because you know, the story is very, very tight and it works. And all the problems that everybody criticises it for are true. Absolutely, they are true. But when it's really well performed, I mean, this is why I still like opera as well. I don't really care. As long as the singing is really, really good and the orchestra works and the lights are on, I'm pretty happy. I absolutely loved the quality of the performing that was going on. Not just the leads. I was watching, Kianji was hilarious. Kianji and Carlotta, top marks for everything. But even the chorus was like really committing to everything, and that really helps sell the show. Masquerade is an interesting choice. They do away with the expenses and they use all the usual tricks that you would use to make people look more fabulous than they are, and as if there are more people on stage than there are. Let's put it this way, the girls were in costume, the boys were in tuxes, and that halves the spectacle just by doing that alone. And the intricacy of the costuming wasn't as individual. So the pieces that you would come to love, like, I mean, the famous things are like the cross-dresser or the monkey, or there are pieces that were in the original show that were very dramaturgically important, and yet everyone's just sort of in a sparkly dress and a tux. So like, that's an economical decision that it's not bad if you haven't seen anything else, but the substance isn't there to back it up. I really, really enjoyed Raoul. I thought he had the most extraordinary voice, and really the trio really complemented each other very, very nicely. So that was very, very impressive. I also really enjoyed both of the managers, the producers. Was it Firmin and Andre? If I could play a role in this show, I'd be playing them, because their role is to pull their hair out and try and find practical solutions to what is essentially superstition and magic tricks and violence in their theatre. They're still trying to get bums on seats, so I love their roles so much. I really enjoyed that. The set is very interesting. Like, it's worth a look just to see how they put all these ideas into one sort of music box pop-up book style set. And I commend the designers. Like, they've done a really good job, but the brief, you can feel why they've been asked to do things the way they have. And it's not like dream big and we'll make it happen. It's, we dreamed big, can you make it smaller so it fits on a truck? So that's not something to be sneered at. It still feels opulent. It's just, you know, there's a difference. There's a difference. Okay, my final impressions of the show before I get on the train. It's absolutely worth seeing. I think sitting in the best seat that you can afford is a decision that is personal. I could afford an extraordinarily well-placed seat at a huge price. And I'm not sorry for it, because I saw the show at its best, and where I sat in the theatre didn't influence how I thought the show went. I thought the casting was extraordinary. I thought the execution was really, really great. I thought the decisions that were made to make it into an economical touring show are disappointing when you know what you're missing. But if you don't know what you're missing, you're probably gonna love it, because it serves up decadence and gothic glamour and romance and torment and all these like big vibe operatic ideas. I really loved the orchestra, honestly. I had a look at the program and the orchestra is a big ass orchestra, so that's great. More of that, I say. I was very impressed by the cohesion of the company. Like, there was a lot of really strong acting moments. I really enjoyed the ensemble. I think there were so many great moments, like, honestly. But the whole crew are knackered. They're so done. They need a day off. So I was gonna hang out, but I decided, you know what? You guys deserve a chin wag where you don't have to be careful about what you say, so I'm gonna go. And I've caught the last of the light, which is beautiful, and I'm almost at the train station. So yeah, go see the show, go support new work. Is it the best thing in the world? No. Is it the best thing it's on? Probably.